very good morning to you, beautiful people of Abuja. Welcome to Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7. I am Chiamaka Okafor, and today heating to Sorry, I beg your pardon. Good morning, beautiful people of Abuja. Welcome to Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen FM 93.7. I'm Chiamaka Okafor, and today we're dedicating the show to the ongoing ASU strike that has kept Nigerian students away from the classroom for over 5 months now. We will be discussing all of Premium Times interventions, including reports we have done, and also Twitter Spaces conversations we've had and spoken to key actors with regards to the strike. We will be joined by Premium Times education reporter who has painstakingly reported the strike and the various tales around it. As always, I have my co-presenter, Titi Lokwe Fadari, in the studio, who will be joining me to discuss these issues this morning. Hi, Titi. How are you feeling?
Great. How are you, Amaka?
I'm very well. I'm feeling the heat of the ASU strike and the pain of the Nigerian students who've been at home for a long time. On this show, Premium Times Half Hour, we discuss important issues. Premium Times is Nigeria's leading investigative and accountability platform. We bring this show to you every week as part of our mandate of providing information you need to make informed decisions. The show spotlights exclusive reports produced by Premium Times reporters from in-depth investigation, unique analysis, and human angle stories. This is an audience-centered program, meaning you will be able to call us in later to share your opinion with us. The phone numbers to call are 090-3222-9797, 090-3222-9797, or you can call 080-8222-2037, 080-8222-2037, or you can also call 081-8222-2205, 080-8222-2205. Those are the numbers to call if you want to join us this morning to contribute to the conversation. Before we delve into today's report and conversation, one of my co-presenters, Titi Lokwe Fadari, will update us on some stories we published during the week. Titi, over to you.
Thanks, Amaka. Here are some interesting reports Premium Times published during the week. First, we published a report titled Alleged 25 billion naira fraud. EFCC greets NDDC's account director over corruption. Apparently, the government is still following the fraud in the forensic audit report. Hopefully, nobody turns off the mic. We also reported a court jailing an officer of the National Association of Nigerian Students for Internet Fraud, Adeyemi Abiodun, Director of Logistics, Federal University Oye Ekiti chapter. He was among 40 persons jailed for impersonation, obtaining money under false pretense, obtaining property by false pretense to forgery. Amaka, these are interesting times. Wouldn't you agree?
They're really interesting time, Titi. Who would have thought that a NANS official who is supposed to be, putting the students' feeling to the striking union and the government will be busy enriching himself through illegal means? It's something else.
Well, I'm amazed, by the way. So the court ordered Mr. Abiodun to pay $1,000 in restitution and forfeit a white Mercedes-Benz CLA 250 with customs NANS plate number worth 16 million naira. The court also ordered the forfeiture of his gold neck chain and one ice neck chain worth 3.6 million naira, Bitcoin worth $58,854, one Apple MacBook Pro 2020 model, and an iPhone 12 Pro Max to the federal government. Lastly, we published an editorial titled On the Fiscal Cliff, CBN and Nigeria's External Reserves. Remember, 2 weeks ago, we discussed the 33 recommendations from governors to the president after news broke that the balance on the nation's gross external reserves was considerably low, below the advertised figures, and concerns rose about the economy's welfare. The news was particularly troubling because the balance on the reserves at $15 billion, contrary to the official claim of $36 billion, is barely enough for 3 months of imports. Premium Times believes that if Nigeria is to have a breather and be pulled back from the fiscal cliff at which it is precariously located at the moment, one would rather One way around this would be that we would have to increase productivity, the tax base, and diversify our economy. It would also be that the country would have to take deliberate steps towards recovering $17 billion that it has owed from undeclared crude oil revenues by some international oil companies between 2011 and 2014.
Thank you very much, Izzy, for that beautiful update. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, we'll be joined by Kosim Suleiman, Premium Times' education reporter, to discuss the ongoing ASU strike. Stay locked.
Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport, and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out. Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport, and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is Premium Times Half Hour, brought to you by Premium Times on Citizen FM 93.7. Before we join by Kosim Suleiman this morning, Premium Times' reporter on the education desk, let us provide some background and some context for the ongoing ASU strike. So I'd first like to ask a question. How many of you listeners like me have been affected by the ASU strike? Maybe not this year, the previous years. I mean, in the last 23 years, ASU has embarked on about 16 strikes, with the recent one lasting up to 6 months now, and is still ongoing. Perhaps we could have the longest strike in the history of Nigeria, who knows? Some schools of thought are of the opinion that without ASU, the Nigerian tertiary education system would have long been swept under the carpet, insisting that ASU's constant face-off with the Nigerian government is the reason the country still has a public education system. While others think ASU is in the way of their future and ambitions and need to stop with the, in quote, unproductive strike. The major bone of contention in this strike is the failure of the federal government to honor an MOU signed in 2009. We all used to 2009. Emmanuel Osodeke, ASU's president, has stated categorically that there is no end in strike if the government does not honor the agreement for 2009. This is how many years after 2009 now, Titi?
I mean, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. It's over 10 years, because 2019 is 10 years, so do the maths, so it's over 10 years now. We have with us Kosim Suleiman in the studio, and he's joining us live to comment on these issues. Thank you, Kosim, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
ASU's president has said there's no end in sight if they do not get what is theirs, the monies or whatever is contained in the MOU they sign. Can you speak to this while also helping us understand what the bone of contention or contentions is and are?
Well, thank you. First of all, ASU has quite a number of demands. It's not just maybe one or two. And I think people do not really understand some of ASU's demands. And most of these demands actually are not new. They are demands that have been, they've discussed these things with the government before, and most of these demands are the things contained in some agreements that the government have signed but have refused to implement. And so ASU strike over the years is just like a demand for governments to actually implement what it has agreed to implement. IPs that is just coming up. So when we look at some of these, some of ASU's demands, one can put them in, categorize them into like, okay, ASU's welfare and what ASU say is supposed to be funding for the university system. Okay, so when we look at that, first of all, when we look at ASU's welfare, ASU wants a better pay for their union, which is contained in their 2009 agreement with the government. Every 3 years, they're supposed to renegotiate the agreement with the government and look at, to improve the conditions of service of these lecturers, their end academic allowances, their salaries, and other things like that. Now, when we look at the another thing that ASU say, which is the revitalization fund for the universities, ASU have agreed with the government as far back as 2014 ASU have agreed with the government to invest at least 200 billion naira every year for at least 5 years into these universities. But ASU is saying that the government have only implemented or released this fund only once, and even at that time it said the fund was like extracted from the TED fund account, which ASU is saying that the money they are requesting for is not supposed to be from the TED fund account. So, and apart from that, ASU is also wants the government to stop the creation of more universities because it is saying that the government is unable to adequately fund the existing ones, especially the ones created by the state government. So it is saying that the government establishes universities without any plan of funding them. Now, and look at this, between 2011 and today, the government has established more than 23 universities. Now, this is both the states and federal government, and the number is even more than that. So, as we speak, there are in fact bills to create more universities at the National Assembly. So, ASU is saying that the government just established these universities and let them get almost all of their capital projects from TED Fund, which is not supposed to be. So, ASU is saying that unless the government can set aside a fund to fund these universities, new universities, for at least 10 years before they can access any grants from TED Fund, it does not want the government to create any more universities. And another demand is, in fact, the release of white paper from the Presidential Visitation Panel. Okay, now every 5 years, the president set up a panel to go into federal universities and assess the situation and submit their reports. So in 2015 to 2020, this panel submitted their reports to the government in April last year, but the government only constitutes another committee to draft a white paper from these reports in, I think, early in March this year. That was like a few days after ASU embarked on strike, and this is part of ASU's demands. And that committee only submitted their drafted white paper to the Minister of Education in May this year. And May to this time is about 3 to 4 months. The government is yet to release that white paper into the public space. And ASU wants these white papers to be in the public space because they believe that those visitation panel and the white paper would be able to point Nigeria, would a kind of absolve ASU of blame, because it's going to show the kind of rot in the university system. And the government have not done this. So these and some other things are the demands from ASU.
These are the major demands of ASU, and right now I can't even help but agree with ASU. Why would you be creating more universities if you can't fund the already existing ones? Titi, you're giving me the eye. I want to ask a question. Go ahead, please.
Yes, because I mean, it's been 16 strikes in 23 years. It's a lot. And you've been in the room where all the major actors rather are. So can you tell us the news behind the news, the things that we do not actually know, that the public does not actually know?
Well, I think it appears that the government is looking to share the expenses. They are not trying to add more expenses to the government account. And ASU's demands particularly are only going to add to the government's expenses, at least for now. So since the government has a history of making promises to ASU and not fulfilling them, the union is not giving any room for trust. And they are saying that until their demands are met, like until they can see some practical moves, they are not going to suspend this strike. So the thing is that the government is trying not to spend more money. It's trying to, in fact, reduce the amount of expenditure it has. But ASU's demands are only going to increase this government's expenditure. So the government are trying not to invest that money. And as we're saying that until you do this, we are not going.
We're not going anywhere. So it's a case of once beaten, twice shy. Dear members of the audience, remember this is an audience-centered program, meaning you can start calling us right away if you want to share your opinion on the ongoing ASU strike. The phone number is to call at 090-3222-9797, 090-3222-9797. Or you can call 080-8222-2037, 080-8222-2037. Or you can also call 081-8222-2205, 081-8222-2205. I'm Queen Esther. Hi, Queen Esther. Thank you for joining us.
I was just going to sneak in, just sneak in and sneak out.
You look really pretty. It looks like the ASU strike has never affected you.
You did though, but let's not go there. Let's just thank God for where we are.
Okay, we thank God. Can you ask your question?
Yes, I've been listening and I understand the fact that government doesn't want to add to its expenses or trying to cut down costs and all that. But then I feel like there should be a need for compromise. It shouldn't be like a Herculean task, especially because of the fact that the strike has lasted for this long, for 6 months.
Sorry, we have a call coming in. I'll have to cut you quickly to take that. Hello. Hello. Okay, I think we lost the caller already. Queen Esther.
Yeah, so I'm just asking if there should be there's like a need for compromise in sites, because as it is now, the students are the ones suffering. So is there any plan for maybe the government or ASU to maybe tweak their demands a little or tweak their stand a little?
Talking about that compromise, the thing is, ASU has lost almost all of the trust it has with government, because as far back as 2009, the government have been making promises to this union, and then after calling or suspending their strike for the government to implement these agreements, the government will not. So at this point, ASU is saying that until they can see anything concrete, they are not, going to suspend their strike. And the government is saying that it is trying not to take up more expenses. The governments have always complained about low revenues, price of oil, this and that. But ASU is saying that these are the same complaints ASU have been receiving as far back as 1992. So, and, when we look back now, you feel like, at 1992 or those years, Nigeria is even doing well, there are still more money. So ASU is saying that no matter how much you think there's no money for you to spend on this, on the university education, it all boils down to the lack of political will for the government to do it. And that's why I've always made suggestions to the government. For instance, recently, the ASU president said that the union has suggested to the government to use a telecommunication tax to fund the university education. It said the government refused to do that, and recently the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, made a similar comment that the government will start, implementing such a tax. Now, ASU is saying that his union, that's according to the ASU president, Emmanuel Osodeke, he's saying that his union actually made that suggestion to the government. Now the government is trying to implement that agreement, that suggestion, not for university education, but for a different thing. And the government is not even acknowledging the union. So
Interesting.
Thank you very much, Qasim, for this wonderful submission. And just to remind our dear listeners that this is a phone-in program. You can call us right away to make your comments. Tell us how this ASU strike has affected you so badly. The numbers to call are 090-3222-9797, 090-3222-2297, 080-8222-2037, 080. Oh, we have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, so we lost that caller there. The numbers to call again are 090-3222-9797, 090-3222-9797. You can also call 080-8222-2037, 080-8222-2037. Or you can also call 081 82 22 22 05, 081 82 22 22 05. Okay, so this caller is quite persistent. I hope we get to hear that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Johnson. I'm calling from Oka.
Hi, Johnson. Please, are you a student? How has the strike affected you, or what are your comments?
Actually, the strike has really done more harm than good to us as students, and I think it's high time the federal government should actually look into it. It has taken us backward a lot, and most of us that plan to graduate before now, they are still in school. We have other plans for our life, not just going to school. But I think this strike is delaying some of the plans we have for ourselves as youths. So we can't be answering that of tomorrow when the government is not making the educational system favorable for us. So I think the strike is a really guard. So I think the federal government should actually look into it and do something about it. It's not just the students, it's affecting the society at large. So I think it's something the federal government should look at.
Thank you very much, Johnson, for calling in. We're so sorry that the strike has been in the way of your graduation. We hope that things get better and you get out of the university as soon as you can. The numbers to call again are 090-3222-9797, 090-3222-9797, 080-8222-2037, 080-8222-2037. Or you can call 081-8222-2205, 080-8222-2205. I will still have Kosim in the studio, but Titi, I'm sure you have a question to ask again.
Yes, I do actually, Oliver Twist here. So, Kosim, are there any comments from sources in the education sector? And I mean, is there any even like talks around solutions to resolve this issue?
Well, talking about solutions now, I think I would like to come from the perspective of both unions from the federal government, because I would like to chip in something. You know, the federal government does not want to continue investing in education, and one of the suggestions that one of the leaders of the negotiation team in 2017, the Wale Babalaki, he's UNILAG's former pro-chancellor, he suggested that the university should now be run like, there should be an increase in school fees, because the current school fees being paid are not quite, substantial. So he suggested an increase in the payment of school fees, and students who cannot afford the school fees, there will be like an education bank for students to take up loan, and there will be scholarships for students who are gifted. But ASU rejected this idea flatly, like completely rejected this idea, because I think ASU do not trust the government to properly implement this, and they believe it is just going to rob poor Nigerians of access to the university education. And I don't think now looking at ASU currently, or where the whole negotiation is, when we are talking about suspension of strike currently, I think this could happen when the government probably decide to pay ASU salary, because the government have not been paying them their salaries since they embarked on strike in February, and this is one of the, the Minister of Education met with a lot of unions who are on strike, particularly the university-based unions, and many of them have agreed to shelve their strike. NASU, SANU suspended it for 2 months to give room for the government to meet some of its demands. But ASU is saying that until those salaries are paid, they are not going to suspend that strike. And this is in addition to the fact that ASU and the government have not reached any concrete agreement on most of their demands.
Thank you very much, Kosim. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we would like to hear from you what you think our education system is becoming. Stay tuned. Don't
www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out. Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is Premium Times Half Hour on Citizen 93.7 FM, and we've been discussing the ongoing ASU strike that has kept Nigerian students at home for over 5 months and counting. Just like we heard from Johnson, this is in his way of graduation, and we wonder how many more students this is hindering from moving on. Dear audience, the numbers to call are 090-3222-9797, 090-3222-9797, 080-8222-2037, 080-8222-2037, or you can call 081-8222-2205. We have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello. Yeah, can you please speak up? We can hear you. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from my name is.
Say that again.
My name is. I want to get mine.
Yeah, I can hear you, but you need to speak up more. Sorry, we lost the caller. Please call us again to make your comment. But right now, I'd like to pass it over to Queen Esther to bring us up to date on the news within the week which you missed. Queen Esther, over to you.
Thank you, Amaka. So first, we published a report titled Alleged 25 Billion Fraud. EFCC grills NDDC's account director over corruption. Apparently, the government is still following the fraud in the forensic audit reports. Hopefully, nobody turns off the mic this time. We also reported the court jailing the NANS officer for internet fraud, Adeyemi Abiodun. He is director of logistics at the Federal University Oye-Ekiti chapter. He was among 40 persons jailed for impersonation, obtaining money under false pretense, and forgery. And then we published an editorial titled On the Fiscal Cliff, CBN and Nigeria's External Reserves. Also, remember 2 weeks ago we talked about the 33 recommendations from governors to the president after news broke that the balance on the nation's gross external reserve was considerably below advertised figures. Concerns rose about the economy's welfare.
Sorry, Minister, can I quickly cut you? We have the last call coming in.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I was on a call before. I don't choose your number. My name is Nze.
Hi, Nze. Please go ahead and make your comment.
Yes, I also agree with the man at the studio. You see, it's in a tough reality. Government can no longer sustain the current school fees paid by students in federal and state universities. There is need to jack it up a little, so that they will see they have fun to carry out whatever operation they want to carry out. That's number one. Number two, the issue of that UTAS, I think that one has been solved according to what we had.
Yeah, please make your point in 1 minute, Nze. Thank you.
Yes, okay. What I will ask us to do to arrive to have a table with government is that this money this is for good for the whole Nigerians, for the university to be well equipped. But I don't think it will be done in one year. They can do it on.
So sorry, we lost the caller there, but thank you very much for calling in to join today's program. Queen Esther, please conclude.
Yeah, so lastly, Premium Times holds weekly discussion on Twitter Spaces, where citizens are allowed opportunities to speak with government officials on important issues facing the country. We hold this every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So you can follow us on Twitter to join us on Wednesday.
Thank you very much, Queen Esther, for that update. And a quick update for you guys is that ASU will this weekend decide whether or not to continue the strike. But from feeling the tempo of Mr. Oshodike, the ASU president, it doesn't look like there's an end in sight, like he said. Thank you very much for joining today's program. This is where we wrap up for today. And remember that this is Premium Times Half Hour, brought to you by Premium Times. Make sure you keep your dialogues onto Premium Times Half Hour every Thursday at 11:05 a.m. on Citizen FM 93.7. Again, this show is brought to you by Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform which tells you every minute stories that can help you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts and other interesting content for your delight. For timely updates on politics, entertainment, sports and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. God willing, we'll be here again next Thursday, same time, same station. Titi Lokwe, Quinesta, Kusim and myself have a great weekend.
www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out. Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable.